Now, with Jalen, kid is playing, man.
Yes.
That throw to A.J. Brown down on the goal line, see, that's what I'm talking about. You notice all the big-time quarterbacks come to the line of scrimmage, they see something they want to attack, change the play, and they go after you.
It 1 for 5 start. I don't look at it like that. Look, if I'm already telling you guys, hey, 3-0, pump the brakes. When Jalen got out to that 1 for 5, I was like, hey, hang in there. This thing's there's gonna be a bonehead mistake. And sure enough, you got it. So, holy cow, man. Hey, well, we got a lot going on here, man. We have an absolute lot going on here. And I got to get to my guy, Garry Cobb from Fox 29, former Eagle. Gary, all right, man, here we are, 3-0. You should see the fans, man. To get ready to go to Glendale. I mean, want to pay Jalen 46-1? Everything's rolling, man. I mean, you beat Detroit, you got Minnesota, and you beat Washington. Give me your takeaways from what you saw on Sunday.
Well, I think it's time, be very sober, but I definitely think there's reason to get very excited. I mean, when you see the way the defensive line played, the defensive line, like every guy just dominated their guy. They were running guards back into the face of Carson Wentz. And Wentz, he still loved to hang on to that football, but they dominated them. It wasn't where, I heard coming into the game, the Eagles wanted to blitz them. They didn't have to. They're going like, why are we going to call a blitz when the 4 guys up front are getting there every play? Why would we call a blitz? So they just got after him. The way, Fletcher, the way he did that guard, man. Oh, man.
Oh, he bent him over.
Man, come on.
He bent him over, man.
That's just disrespectful.
Oh, dude, he did. Hey, I thought he was going to – Gary, I thought after he bent him over, I thought he was going to kick him.
Hey, hey, man. Woo, that was but it was impressive. And I like, I have been expecting and looking for this from Josh Sweat. I see him do things at practice. Kid, play this way in the game. And he has had a lot of times where, hey, the guy's getting rid of the ball when he comes free and that sort of thing. But some of this, I was expecting, but we're going to see whether they can keep it up. And, of course, what they showed with the fact that the week before you see the defensive backs where you got a good group back there. You got a good group of defensive linemen. You got some good linebackers. The linebackers played well, too. So this is a time where you can't waste, man. You can't waste it. What you got to do is everybody's got to, step up what they're doing. Continue working hard. Don't get caught up. I know it's going to be hard. Everybody loves you. We love you. Come over, you don't have to pay for your pizza. You don't have to pay for whatever you want to eat. Come on in and eat. Look, you can't get where you lose your focus, though. They got to stay focused in here. This is an opportunity. They got a ways to go. We don't want to get ahead of it. But everything, attention to detail, making sure you're ready because you're going to play better teams. You're going to play against better quarterbacks, and there are going to be some challenges up the road. But you got to be ready for them. The way you get ready for them is you start preparing now. You got to be ready to take your game even up to another level. Now with Jalen, kid is playing, man.
Yes.
That throw to A.J. Brown down on the goal line, see, that's what I'm talking about. You notice all the big-time quarterbacks come to the line of scrimmage, they see something they want to attack, change the play, and they go after you. That's why, years ago, if I was calling the signals as a linebacker, you see the quarterback and you're playing against a good quarterback, like Montana and those guys come up to the line of scrimmage. Oh, no, he's checking out. Hey, we got to get out of this. We got to get out of this coverage, man. Or we're blitzing him and he knows it. That's when, that's big-time quarterbacking. And so you saw Jalen do some of that. He's making advances. He's continuing to grow. Got to continue the growth because you're going to be playing against better teams. that are going to play. I mean, I know Jack, man, down there with Washington, man. For all those players they got, they're not getting it done, man.
No,
they're just flat out
was
not getting it done.
That was an absolute train wreck. Man. Well, let me ask you one more thing about Jalen here. I said this, Gary. When you start talking about elite quarterbacks and elite money, like $46.1 million, and you're only 3 weeks into the season, what you don't want to do if you're Howie is this. You don't want to run into that Wentz scenario again where look at Wentz. He was 11-2 playing MVP ball. Everyone looked at him as the future of the team, and all of a sudden, the league caught up with him and realized who he was, and we saw the end result on what we saw on Sunday on who he really is. After 3 weeks, Gary, are you still in a mode where, hey, let's see this thing play out? I'm not saying it's not a great start. He completely has improved. But if you're Howie, do you start thinking, hey, man, to me, I think they're going to franchise tag the kid at 30. You franchise tag him, and they kind of do that serenade, what they did with Dak for a year, and then they come to their realization whether or not they think he's the guy, and they give him that contract extension. How do you see this thing playing out? You think the Eagles in that front office right now are beginning to believe that they may have to start talking like this soon?
I think that they will talk. I think that maybe down the road they consider talking. But right now, I think they want to see it play out. I mean, after 3 games, you haven't really played. I don't think that the type of teams you're going to have to beat if you're going to go ahead and go deep in the playoffs. They got teams later on. They want to see them play those teams, see how he does as he continues to progress, and we'll see how this thing plays out. I wouldn't move before, go ahead and, get antsy and look to doing something now. I don't think that they will, but I definitely think, they've been impressed with what they've seen so far. Let's just let the thing play out. Doing something right now, I think is, you might live to regret it. Take your time. And I think he's the kind of kid who, you don't see him yapping about that. Let him keep on playing it out. And I think that it definitely is moving his side. I tell you that. Continues to play like this. How could you not say he's making good decisions? See, everybody talks about the yardage and everything. I'm looking at what he's doing, making good decisions with the football. Making good decisions with the football. He's throwing it there accurately, doing that. That impresses me more than all the runs because you can only run but so long in the NFL. It's making good decisions with the football, throwing it accurately. I mean, you look at the deep balls he's thrown where he's giving his receiver a chance to make a catch. He's putting it up. He's throwing the deep ball accurately. He's throwing the out routes. He's throwing, everything. He's making all of the throws, and he's making them accurately. Those are the things that you wanted to see improvement in, and he clearly has made improvement there. And then also, as I said, making the decisions, you got to read what they're in, and you got to make the throw. Now, he has disarmed these teams with his running that they're saying, well, we can't play man and turn our back to this guy, so they're playing zone. Well, fine. They're going to play zone. Then he reads what they're in. He sees it, got a man-to-man. He's giving his guy a chance to make a play. With Devonta. He's one-on-one with a guy. Put it up there. Give Devonta a chance to make a play. Did the same thing with A.J. Brown. He knows what he's doing. See, that's the thing. He knows what he's doing.
You see all the progression stuff, and Gary and I both know that, at the end of the year, the football season is when they can officially start talking and doing some stuff. So,
yeah.
But here, let me slide you back over to the defensive side. I said this, and you tell me if I'm wrong. TJ Edwards, I think for what you're paying him, I think he's your best defensive football player. Gary, man. He's a ball player.
Yeah, he is. He's got a good head. I mean, he's always in the right place, and he's a very good tackler. He does a good job both in pass coverage and against the run. So, maybe he's not the big name. He didn't get a lot of hoop, whatever people talking about him before he got here. So what? Guys in here playing well. You can see he's smart. He's where he's supposed to be all the time. I mean, they're getting outstanding linebacker play. I mean, and him and White in there, you can see they're making plays. They make plays. They make plays out in the open field. They're doing a good job with pass coverage, and really as an entire unit. You see all of the times they got their hands on the football. I mean, I'm thinking about really. They get their hands on the football a lot, man, knocking passes down and things. So they're playing outstanding right now. But, of course, it's still very, very early. Very early.
Only 3 games in so far.
Only 3 games
like
in.
You said, so Gary, really an absolutely fabulous start. Gary, take me back to 17. Is this team better?
They could be. You can't say. Because they got tremendous.
What was the thing that you thought separated that 17 team that you'd like to see this team adapt? Is there one component you think, because again, like you said, they raised the trophy. Is there one thing still that this team here this year has to do that team did? Was there one quality that you remember, or was it just something that just evolved?
That team just developed. That team had so many veteran players in so many different positions that they had put these guys together, and they came together. A lot of the guys, that was their last thing in the NFL. But they were all seasoned. The guys coming out of the backfield, seasoned guys. They did have one rookie. But for the most part, they had seasoned guys, and I see a lot of the same thing. I mean, you got all these weapons offensively. You got, you got pass rushers. You got a good defensive backfield. I see a lot of the same similar things, but of course, they played their best football when they had to. Now that's what these guys see. That's what you got to do. You got to take your game to the next level when it's all on the line. And you can clearly see that this team has the potential to do that because they got a defensive line that can take over the game. Their secondary can step up. Like they got the challenge with Jefferson. They stepped up against them. You got that. So you see that defensively and you see the good linebacker play. Then you look on the opposite side of the ball. The offensive line can take over a game. And you see you got these weapons. Come on, you got A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. You got really 2 number ones you got out there, and they can take over a game. And then you got Goddard. Come on. How many tight ends can do what he can do with the way that, who you got covering him? So they got all the weapons. But, of course, a lot is still going to come down. How's that quarterback playing? And he continues to play that way. They got to shake up a lot of people because you can't double everybody. And I don't know who's going to be, matching up against Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown to where they're going to shut them down because one of the guys has got to be single covered if they're going to play man-to-man. So it's just a matter of them being ready. But you know what? When they say hold your water, because it's still early, but the pieces are there, but they got to play. Hey, when it's on the line, I mean, you got to do it, and that means you got to have that type of a mentality, and that's why I can appreciate Jalen, which is no celebrating. That's basically what he's saying. No celebrating. We didn't play. They didn't play the full game, and all these games they have not played well in the second half. So that's something that they're going to have to do when they play against a team that's pushing them on, that's
Packers.
pushing them, to the edge. They're going to have to play well the whole game. They haven't really done that. They haven't played the entire game, so they got to do that. So,
hey, Gary, would you agree that the 2 common factors from the 17 team to this 2022 team would be this? They were deep in 17. They're deep now. The quarterback played MVP football in 17, and Jalen has to play MVP football. Aren't those the 2 common things that we're seeing here? Is that because to me, your football team was a mash unit going into the playoffs and especially into the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But they lost they lost their MVP, and they still win the damn game, which is maybe one of the greatest stories of all time. You lose your left tackle and your starting quarterback, who was the MVP of the league that year, and you still run over the Patriots. Is that kind of the same characteristics you're seeing?
That's what it is, which is, that quarterback. I mean, everybody talks about it, but look, it's honest. The quarterback has to play great if you're going to beat a great team. And that's what they had. Thing is, Nick Foles was the MVP of that Super Bowl, and he played like it. He went out. And the thing they did was they had their foot on the gas that entire game. And they had to, or Brady would have come back and won that game. They had their foot on the gas. They were aggressive with all the calls and everything. And they had to, because they couldn't stop Brady. So they ended up winning out. That's a miracle there, because that doggone Brady, say what you want, man. The guy's a hired killer.
He surely is.
And if they hadn't done that, they wouldn't have won that.
Two last questions for you, Gary. Jonathan Gannon, on that side of the ball, is it the players understanding what is being asked of him and them, or is it Gannon making adjustments? What do you see? Because I don't really see a lot of adjustments. I just see players stepping up. Josh Sweat, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Dude, him and Brandon Graham were spectacular in that ball game.
Yeah.
And Fletcher Cox Hargrave, I thought they owned the guard center triangle in there. They killed the middle of that.
Yes,
there was no way. They got internal pressure on Wentz. He can't handle that. You see that.
Yeah.
Is it just player accountability that you're seeing now?
Well, they're playing outstanding football. And as I said, you don't see guys get their hands on balls as much. You got how many balls knock down balls on third down and things. So they're playing well, but they got good players. I mean, you look at their corners. These are two Pro Bowl level corners. So you're not.
I think Bradbury, Gary Bradbury's gone back to 2 years ago.
That's what he's done.
When he was a Pro Bowler, he looks it.
Yep. Avonte Maddox is as good of a slot corner as you can find in the league. The kid is a good player,
Epps too.
What's that?
Epps too, man. I mean, he had a good game.
Yeah, he had a good game. So they're playing good football. Now, you got to just keep it up. This is early in the season, but you got everybody showing you that these guys are capable of playing elite championship level type football. But you got to do it when the lights is on. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do when the lights are on. And they got to continue. That's why, fellas, don't start celebrating anything because we haven't won anything yet. We haven't won anything. But we're working towards that. And I think people around the league, you can't help but look at them and say, man, that team's got a lot of talent.
I do have a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Final question for you. Nick Sirianni. We talk about Jalen Hurts and whether or not, let this thing play out. Same thing with Nick and how he's handled the team, because I'll tell you, he's handled the team very well. And I think that, you're seeing some really good stuff here with how he's handled the team. Are you in agreement with that?
He's doing a good job. He's emphasizing fundamentals. He's talking about the things that are important on the football team, which is, you got to have guys that want to win more than guys just want to put up stats and things, So you notice you haven't heard any problems with that, where, because you can't throw the ball to everybody every play, and everybody can't go in and get a sack or whatever. It's the kind of thing where they got to be emphasis on winning. It's about winning, fellas. If we win, everybody's going to be invited to the party. Hey, so we just want to win. That's what we want. We want to make sure we win. If we win, everybody gets paid too. I mean, you know that. Hey, if you got to go somewhere else, you're going to end up getting your money. Winning is what it's all about, man. If they keep winning, and what I say, it's a good life.
It surely is, man.
It's a good life.
Really out to a great start, 3-0 start, no question about it. Hey, real quick before I let you go, how about the job that Doug Peterson's doing with the Jags? I mean, hey, I watched that. I watched that Charger game. That kid Walker, he's a ball player.
I know.
He is a ball. Are you shocked?
Hey, I can't say I've been keeping an eye on everything that's been going on down in Jacksonville. But doggone, when I looked at the game, I started saying, Eagles they better be ready for the Jacksonville, man. Well, you can see, they got a talented quarterback. They got weapons. So this is going to be a nice test for these guys. I looked at the schedule, during the offseason. I said, well, this is a week off. This is not a week off. They better be ready to play. Jacksonville, they got talent and they're playing well. So this is going to be something that, well, they're going to look at the tape. They'll see these guys can play. So this is a game they better be ready for.
Absolutely. Garry, thank you so much, my friend.
All right.
Hey, we are 3-0, baby. I appreciate it.
All right. Sounds good. But don't buy the ticket yet.
Garry Cobb from Fox 29. That's what I say. Don't buy the ticket to Glendale just yet. Okay? Not yet, okay? Hey, my good friends at Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free, knowing this, man, if you get hurt or injured on the job, the number one place you want to go is Morgan & Morgan because they will protect your rights. With over 800 attorneys and offices in Philadelphia, New York, and in Florida, there is no place that will protect you more when it comes to getting fair compensation for your family. Call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. The call is free. The consultation's free. 1-800-512-1600. And when you call them, tell them Big Sil sent you.
When choosing a lawyer for your injury case, you may ask, does the size of the law firm matter? Well, of course it does. The insurance company, they're huge with unlimited resources. And whether your case is big or small, they're built to bully you out of the money you're owed. But here's the good news. We're big too, the biggest actually. And we're built to fight to make them pay for all that was taken from you. Size is our strength. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com.